Oh, see if we can't get something done here. That's that pile of walnut over there. I want to get up on that stacker, but I've got to move some stuff. Machine's been warming up for 10 minutes. It's still about as muddy as you want to get her. But if we waited for it to dry out, it'd be springtime. Ain't gonna get nothing done like that. If you notice, the windows are cleaner. I had nothing to do with that. That was Mark. Let me get you adjusted there. You see what we're going to do. Well, I guess we'll go get that wood stacking box out of the way. I don't actually mind running like this when I ain't got a lot of people standing around. Not that I mind so much, but it's a lot less for me to watch. And like I always say, you gotta slow down and take time and watch what you're doing. These boxes we've been putting together, Mark mostly, but they've been working pretty good. They'll keep our lumber up and drying, and we figure that, oh, that's just about a half a quart of wood in each one of these boxes. Well, we got a few of them, and as we use them, we'll reuse them. Somebody had said something about letting the people bring them back, but these are one of them things, once you get to the house, you might decide just to keep it, and we'd never get it back. So we're gonna have to end up moving that again anyhow. Yeah, it gets to the point where you gotta move stuff. There ain't no room to work on the end of the mill here. Everybody's tripping on everything, and next thing you know, somebody's falling over. It'll probably be me. They said it's going to freeze up here. I was trying to get this done before the weekend because it's going to snow. They said we're going to get a pretty good snow, and we're about due for one. These stackers, though, I'll tell you what, you've seen on the last video, the mill video here, we made this one up, and they're pretty nice. The best way to keep your lumber, if you can come up with, you can build them out of about anything, as long as you get a 4x and a 6x out of it. As you can see, it's tight in here. Whoop. Yeah, gotta come ahead on her. There'd be about enough room to get out. I was saying the other day too, is on these payloaders like this, when you turn the wheel this way, the load seems to go that way, so you got to get used to that. As you see what I'm talking about there. Tell you what, I don't like to do it this way, but I'm almost going to have to. I'm going to come up a little bit higher than I normally would, so I can get turned enough to get out of here. just so many things you want to watch, and we'll see what that does. That might do it for us. When you get to where you get a little frustrated when you're moving something, the best thing you want to do is probably just slow down. Take your time. I'm going to put this right up here because I'm going to go over there and fetch up that pile of walnut and set it on top of here. Then I'm going to take that chestnut and I'm going to put it on top of the walnut, and I'm going to get her good and covered. That's some wood we're going to be sawing there pretty soon. That's some hard maple, and there's some red oak. But you got to put away what you already sawed first. Or at the end of the week or the end of a couple of weeks, you don't even got enough room to move around. I do like this smaller cat here for in the yard, because that big one you seen over there I showed you before, it was a bit too big just for doing something like this. I favor a skid loader, but that skid loader's got its capabilities, and well, I think that'll get us over there. If you're going to take the time to saw lumber, you got to take the time to put it upright. There's no sense in cutting it if you're just going to leave it lay out in a pile with no sticks in it or what have you, and expect it to be worth anything, because it won't be. And these are all the things I just shooting a little video here that have to get done besides sawing. Be nice if all you did was saw, but like I said, you'd just have one heck of a mess. This could be a little tricky here too. I don't know how well it's going to work. We're going to find out. See, I gotta watch where my forks are too. I gotta just miss that wood box. Let's see if I can get up here a little bit. Got a fork there and there, one there. It might sit down there, we'll see. That's what I say about the nice thing about making a 12-foot stacker is that you can stack 12s or you can stack 8s or 10s. I think that's going to work. after I get the pile out, I can always take and pick the whole pile up and move it over a little bit when I got some more room. Well, I'll tell you what, let's get down here and maybe do a little bit of stacking. See what we got. Always cover your lumber too. I see lumber sitting around some places, and we'll have a pile for a few days. Sometimes it might sit like that, but you don't ever want to cover your lumber up the whole way down. You'll notice all these piles of lumber here, we've got the tops covered, but we don't cover the side. If you was to cover the side of that lumber, it wouldn't get any air at all, which you're defeating the purpose of drying it. And you never want to bring your tarp. If you go get a tarp and you bring it down to the ground and you put bricks or something on it to hold it, what will happen is that will actually make your lumber wetter, because what it's going to do is it's just going to filter right up through your pile. Sticks, somebody had made a comment about the sticks. Now sticks will be 3/4 inches thickness, and that's the crucial part about it. If they happen to be an inch or so wide, a little bit, it doesn't make that much difference. But that thickness of that, Mark makes these in a shop, and that gives you a nice even. He'll run them through the planer, and when they come out the other side, they'll be 3/4 inch. Then he'll rip them down. Now when you get to the end of your pile, come to the end of your sticks. Not worried about this little gap here. You want to keep your pile straight up the sides as you can. We get comments all the time about stickers. You never want to, I've seen it before, you never want to use green wood to stack green wood on a sticker, because now it's twice as thick and it's going to dry everywhere but where that stick is, and it'll leave what they call sticker stain. Every one of them boards. Now some of it will come out, but a lot of it won't, and you're not drying your lumber properly. And this is just the air drying part of it. That chestnut, none of this chestnut will actually be graded, and the reason being when it's made into something, or if we were selling it, which we're not, but if we were, we would we'd sell the whole tree, the whole log, or whatever it might be. Always put my lumber up tight. Some people, they'll put a gap between it, unless it be white pine. When that lumber starts to dry, it'll get a gap in it anyhow. Excuse me. These are all things, though, that need to get done. And if you tell somebody to do it, they don't realize what they're doing, you're probably going to end up going back there and doing it again. So sometimes it's just easier to do it yourself. And if you can, look at your pile of lumber when you're going through it. I see there that a skinnier one's going to work on that end better. So that's what I'll be using. This chestnut is really nice. That's some nice chestnut. It's worth more now than it ever was. When they cut it, I said before on the video there, they just cut as much as they could, and they used it. They used it every day, and it was no different than us cutting just regular old pine. But when something becomes rare and there's no more of it, pretty much anything, it becomes worth more. And that's what chestnut is. They cut that for many years, and they cut it even later, years after it actually got the blade. You'll see on some of this it's already got the wormholes going on in it. That's what they call wormy chestnut. But it was standing dead, and they utilized that, and they cut it standing dead for years, probably later. Always keep your pile as neat as you can, though. That's like this piece of wood right there. And it's just a beautiful board. It'd be a shame just to throw it out in a pile somewhere and move on to something else. Well, you get the idea of what I'm doing here. I'm going to stack the rest of this chestnut up on here, and then I'm going to get this out of my way. And we'll get back with you. All right, thank you. Well, we're on that pile of lumber now. We got it stacked, and see if we can't get it put away here. And like I said before, don't be afraid to take your time when you got a bunch of lumber. The worst thing, and I've done it, and probably anybody else that deals with lumber has done it too. It gets scattered, and then it's a whole different ball game. Because you're going to end up having to go out there and pick all that lumber up by hand. Let's see. I think we'll leave it right about there for now. Another nice thing I was saying before about that stacker is, even if it's not sitting perfectly on the ground, that it's strong enough to hold that pile of lumber straight while it dries. Plus, it'll probably move 3 or 4 more times before it's all said and done. Well, I'm going to just leave this machine right over here where it belongs. The more I run in this mud, the worse it's going to be. And that got me cleared up pretty good there for the next time we saw here, and we'll have room to take lumber off. Glad they put steps on this thing. It'd be a long way down. Yeah, we made a little bit of a mess here, but like I said before, if you waited for it to dry out, it'd be springtime. Now we got a little bit of space here. There's still a lot of stuff that needs picked up. We got to get this bark under here done and cleaned up, and sawdust underneath the edger needs to come out before it gets built up too much. All that firewood's going to need stacked in that box, and those ones are going to need cut up too. I don't know who stacked this pile of lumber Saturday, but I think I'm going to fire them, because that's, if that was grade lumber, it would be a little more concerning, but we're going to make more of these stacker boxes out of it. But that's not how you stack lumber, but sometimes people just don't know, and that's what you'll get. Oh, you can't fire free help. And a lot of times if somebody doesn't know something, why, it's not their fault. We got a little bit done here today. I just wanted to bring you along and take a look at what we're doing here. There's the bus motor. It's just waiting to run. We'll get her started back up. Well, I appreciate you coming with me as always, and I thank you for watching, and we'll put it at the end of the video. We need a word of the day, and let's see what it will be today. I think it was going to be humble. Now, humble's one of them words. That's something that people aren't usually born with, is being humble. That's something that you learn. And the first thing you want to do when you get to wanting to be humble is you want to look in the mirror, and you want to say to yourself, it's not all about me, because if it's all about you, you'll never be humble. Give it a try. It's just something to think about till next time. And if you watch this to the end and you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, do so. It's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you on the next one. I thank you.